thank you for taking time out for me and us, everybody that's listening, to come on and share a little bit about yourself. So, could you introduce yourself to the audience, to the listeners?
Thank you. I'm so excited to do this. My name is Emily Jennings. I have a website, or I guess a company. I'm still kind of forming it. It's all new. It's called Wellness and Oneness, wellness.com. And I used to be a software engineer. I used to be a teacher. I've had a long journey, but now I am a writer. I think of myself primarily as a spiritual writer, but I also teach meditation. I'm a psychic, and a lot of people know me as a twin flame coach. So that's me.
That's amazing, Emily. So, tell me a little bit how you transitioned from software, you said software engineer, is that right?
hmm
To the
Yeah.
space that you're in now because you're doing some lovely work. So, how did you transition
Thank
into that
you.
space?
That's a interesting story. So in 2020, I had just been a software engineer for like a year. I actually so even It's even interesting how I became a software engineer. I taught myself coding. I used to work in like these coding boot camp schools, and then anyway, I taught myself coding. Got a job as a software engineer in 2019, and then in 2020, the pandemic started. But I was working then remotely. We all went home, and I don't know. A lot of things were changing, but I started to have a spiritual awakening because my marriage ended. There's a lot of moving parts in this story. Yeah, that summer in 2020, but I still had my job as a software engineer, and I was a single mom. And I discovered Ayurveda. Well, I'm also an Ayurveda certified instructor, although I don't teach that very much anymore. Not because I don't want to. People just, we'll get to that later, maybe. But it changed my life. I used to have horrible heartburn
Mhm.
ever since I had my daughter. She's 9 years old now, and um, Ayurveda provided all these answers for me that
Right.
Western medicine couldn't. And then that led. So then my marriage ended, and then that was like a huge spiritual awakening. It was really weird. It was like I was mentally liberated suddenly. And then I realized I had to start exploring chakras and Ayurveda. So I guess it started with the like Eastern philosophies and spirituality, although now I've moved into different areas. But then how did I stop being a software engineer? The answer to that question is I was fired because later in 2020, around Thanksgiving that year, I the universe presented me with the opportunity to become a certified Ayurveda instructor with the Chopra company, Deepak Chopra. I just loved him. I liked his books. And then I remember praying to the universe, let me somehow do this. I need to help people. And I didn't hate being a software engineer, but it wasn't fulfilling. But I was too scared to ever quit. The universe knew I'd never quit because I was a single mom, right? So I had to be forced out, and it was terrifying. Like literally the next work day after I prayed that to the universe, I sent out that prayer because I was thinking I could just on the side study this stuff and then bring it to help people. But the next work day, I was put on a performance improvement plan at work out of the blue. Gave me 60 days. The first 30 days, I tried hard. And then I realized I was starting to realize a lot of things. That was December 2020, that I am not meant for this. The universe is forcing me out of this job. And I also have been fired many times in my life. Okay, not many, 4 times from major jobs in my life. I'm not meant for the corporate world. And I'm starting to realize the universe is telling me this. And so that's it. In February 2021, I was fired, and I was ready because they had given me 60 whole days to get ready. So, well, I wasn't really ready. Of course, it was terrifying, but I was more ready than if it was just random. So, and I never went back to corporate life.
That's amazing. I like to hear that. And so then, as you did the Ayurvedic, how did you come into meditation? So I know you.
Yeah, good question. So I was already kind of spiritual, I guess, since I was a teenager, maybe even earlier. I was interested in meditation. So I also, after becoming certified as an Ayurveda instructor with the Chopra company, I enrolled in the meditation certification as well. So I am a certified primordial sound meditation instructor. That's the style that Deepak Chopra invented, I guess is the right way to say it. But it's good. It uses a mantra to focus the mind. Um, and then all the other things, I guess I was already writing. That was the first thing I did in 2020. As soon as I started to have an awakening, the first thing I knew that I could do to make an impact right away was to write. So I started writing on Medium.
Okay.
Um, I don't know if I'm veering off topic here. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So a little bit about the meditation. Like tell like
Yeah.
when somebody comes in or somebody's looking for like
Mhm.
what does that do? What are the benefits of that?
Okay. So the benefits of meditation, well, there's a lot. There's many different reasons to meditate. For me, now in my journey, it's mainly to reach a higher level of consciousness. But a lot of people start with calming the nervous system
Right.
because you can't get clarity. You can't you can't access your intuition. You can't do any of the things. I mean, just to have a better quality of life unless you have calmed your nervous system. That's reducing anxiety, the physiological things that happen to us when we're stressed. It all is reversed if you regularly meditate.
Right.
And so that's the first thing. But no, a lot of my clients and students do it because they're interested in the very spiritual kind of psychic aspects of meditation. So recently I've been teaching manifestation meditation where we not only calm ourselves and get clarity, but we're also setting intentions and using our thought vibrations to create a better life. So yeah.
Wow. So is our when we think about your clients, for example, because I will have clients once we get past the therapeutic aspect of things,
Hmm.
then their gifts are revealed to them. So when they get past, they've always had these gifts, but they've been really scared about them. Like, no, 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 I don't want to touch this, these spiritual gifts. And so
Yes.
a lot of times I hear people say, well, I can't meditate. And I'm like, you can meditate. It's easier than you think. And
Yeah.
so, when I think about those clients that I'm like, hey, helping them get to the place of, I guess, belief
Mhm.
and strength, right? I think it's meditation. So if that person was thinking about coming to you, right?
Mhm.
What's something, or somebody's looking for a meditation coach. I don't know if you call yourself a meditation coach, but
Yes, I do. Yeah.
being able to, how do they, like, what would be three things that you would tell them that they would, just as they're looking and doing research? Because I think it's all about a good fit. And so I just want to know,
Yeah.
what would be
Yeah.
things?
For if they're coming to me, hoping to do my classes and I also do one-on-one coaching and I do classes, one-off classes and courses. So there's different ways people can work with me. My most popular have been the drop-in classes though that I do like on weekends. But okay, so the three things I would start with if they're coming to me specifically is that I teach a style of meditation that the one developed by Deepak Chopra that is very good for beginners because it it introduces this personal mantra, which is just a vibration that you focus your mind on. It's actually said silently, not out loud, so that everybody, like we could have 100 people in a room, all with different personal mantras,
Right.
but we're all doing it in our minds silently. So, anyway, you focus your mind on that, and it's just like almost like muscle memory kind of exercise you do at the gym where you start to observe your mind and you notice when you get distracted to your to-do list, what are you going to make for dinner, what do you have to do tomorrow. We all have that monkey mind. You train your mind to come back to focus on the mantra, and it takes practice. Some people get it the first time, but it takes practice. So that would be the first thing, is to tell them it's not supposed to be easy. We all have that problem. We all think we can't meditate at first, but you need a point of focus. And so this style is really good for that. The other thing I would say is, I mean, to be real, um, I'm not here to like force people to meditate or to convince them. I'm honestly not here to convince anyone. I think people will do it when they have a reason to. So when you're pushed to a breaking point, you have so much anxiety, or you know there's more to reality and your life, but you just don't know how to get there, but you want to get there because you know that's going to ease your suffering. That's when you'll do it. And that's what I think. Like, you can learn to meditate, but a lot of people give up a regular practice because they don't have the motivation.
Right.
It's, to me, it's a spiritual thing. It's, if you're just doing it to calm your nervous system, I feel like it doesn't stick. It has to be a higher purpose. So maybe, I guess what I would say to that person is find your higher purpose, or do the meditation to find it, you know?
Right.
A third thing, I don't know if I can think of another thing I would say, except that, yeah, I mean, just to go back to, it's not supposed to be easy. There's no band-aids in wellness, as you know. You can't fixes. It's supposed to be hard
Right.
because it's really great.
Right.
You're not gonna, like, it's better than numbing out with substances or distractions from temporary activities and hobbies and distractions that don't fulfill you long term.
Yeah.
So that's why you should do it. It's supposed to be difficult, though.
Right.
Yeah.
So if they're
Yeah.
seeking a meditation coach, right? What would they need to tap into their intuition about that person, like in terms of if this is the right person to guide them, what would be
Mhm. Good question. Yes, there's so many different styles of meditation, honestly. So, oh, I guess I should have also said a lot of my students and clients I've noticed have a background in doing guided meditations on YouTube or with the Calm app or something like that. So they're like ready for the next level. Um, so, but you were asking about, yeah, the finding the right fit for a meditation instructor. Hmm. I mean, tapping into the intuition, I guess that would be true for like any practitioner of, like, I'm also a psychic, I'm also a spiritual coach, I do talk sessions, as you already know. So it's like, is this right for you? Do you feel like you have a trust for this person? For me, do I mean, I bring a lot of humor to my meditation sessions too. I hope people enjoy my jokes and stuff about consciousness, but maybe that's not for everybody. And some people like sound bowl healing. That's really good too. You could meditate with sound bowls. I don't do that. And meditation with music. I actually do that on my own, but I don't teach you. I've been incorporating some music lately into my meditations, but and also, like, what is their purpose in it? Do they want to develop their spiritual psychic abilities? I do like to focus on that with my students. But if they are really not ready to do that, maybe I am not the one for them. Like, I want to help everybody,
right,
every any point they are in their journey. But I do focus on the higher levels of consciousness more than the physiological
right.
parts of meditation. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's amazing. So where do you, as you're saying, you focus on the higher level consciousness and,
Yeah.
let's see, what have been some things, because you said that some of your clients and students already do guided meditation on their own, like they come into the
Hmm.
space. And so I guess my thing is kind of for your own experience as you've meditated and grown, where you are now, would you have thought that you would be where you are now 5 years ago? Like, would you
In
like,
Because of meditation?
yeah, yeah,
Um, oh, that's a great question. No, because it's just like the healing journey, it's not linear.
right.
And sometimes you go backwards, like you think you were going backwards, of course you're not really. It's so weird. Actually, in 2013, I was living in South Korea. I was on an island. It was really nice, but I had a horrible breakup at that time, and it was really hard. I was like devastated. I was grieving, and I already knew how to meditate. It was really weird, actually. I was starting to get into Deepak Chopra at that time, and I was meditating every day for hours. That was before I had a kid and I had more time. I was a teacher there, so I was like on vacation or whatever. I had hours to meditate, and I reached this state of bliss that was unbelievable. And it lasted, I think it lasted days. I remember it lasting days. I could be wrong, but it was just it was, that was it. That was what I was going for in meditation. I still am, but I lost it. It like I go back, you go back into the ego, you go back into reality, and it pulled me back in all the things I was caring about before I started caring about again. And so that's what I'm trying to get back to myself all the time. But other interesting experiences happen along the way, and then no two meditations are the same.
Right.
So yeah, it's no, like you would think I would just be totally enlightened by now. uh
Yeah,
I
no.
shouldn't laugh, but I
No,
really
no,
thought
no.
that.
I think no, I think that that's what people need to hear, right? I think that they think they're supposed to be in a certain place, and
Yeah,
that's not the truth, right? We are human beings,
yeah,
we are flesh. There are multiple bodies that we have, but I think
yeah.
that's what I wanted you to be able to say of like, yeah, I
Hmm.
might be your coach, I might be your guide, but understand that I'm working as well. Understand that we're all
Yes,
working towards a space or a feeling or a sensation in our body. And I think that
definitely.
it really, I think sometimes meditation can be over our heads. And then what you just said, it brings it down to like eye level of, hey,
Yes.
you know, you were somewhere in South Korea on this island and you remember you were meditating for hours and you're like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm trying to get back, I'm trying to get back there.
yeah.
What is that, And so I just think that meditation is an ongoing practice, just like healing. People think, oh, I'm healed.
That's right.
I'm like, hold on. There's so much other fucking shit that we gotta, there's so much, it's so much, right?
It's
And so
ongoing.
that's
Yeah,
what I want you to, what people to understand about meditation. And I think that there's multiple levels in meditation. So it could be the physiological, it could be the higher level of consciousness, but I think there's benefits, right? I think that there's a
yeah,
spectrum around meditation. I think
yeah,
somebody could say, hey, I want to go meditate because I want to bring my anxiety or I want to be in a relationship with my anxiety of what is it? Because I kind of use it as antennas um,
yeah.
of like, how can your antennas are going up. How can you?
It's a portal.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. And if we could all achieve enlightenment tomorrow, then there would be no point of even being here on Earth. Yeah. But you never know. The coolest thing is that you never know I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen in every meditation session I have. You could reach it. It could happen at any moment. It just washes over you. It's not gradual. It's a weird thing. Anyone who describes a kundalini awakening could tell you that. I don't usually use that word, but that, yeah. Anyway, it could happen to you at any point, but also the important thing for me to tell people is we are all on this journey. We are going toward enlightenment. We have to go back to source, but it could take many lifetimes. But uh, that you should not embrace your anxiety and your sadness and all the suffering and say, well, this is just how it is because I'm human. I do think it's important to emphasize we should be aiming higher. So even just setting the intention to meditate every day is huge.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if somebody's a beginner, what do you say to people of trying to set the intention of meditating every day? Do you give them
Mhm.
a time or do because I think we're such
Yeah.
a numbers society or, I like, oh my gosh, how many likes, how many, all these things,
Yeah.
right? Do you give them a number at all? Like in
Uh, Yeah. So when I'm training them to use their personal mantra, I always explain how they should be meditating. Ideally, it should be every day. So when I was being trained by the Chopra company, they said to do it. I should be telling my students to do it twice a day, 30 minutes each time, morning and evening. Even for me, that's too much because I'm a single mom. Like I can't be telling my students to do that
right.
if they're also parents. So I think if you do it every day, once a day, for the best time for you, but you're asking like the links, I'm guessing. So I always tell them do what's comfortable. If you want to set a timer, because There's actual meditation timer apps you can use, but even just your phone timer, I use that too. And you can say 5 minutes today. Tomorrow it's going to be 7 minutes. The next day it's 10.
Right.
I think ideally you should, yeah, try to get up to 30 minutes because you really get into a deep state uh, when it's more than 10 or 15 minutes.
Okay.
I mean, I try to do it even longer if I can, but 30 minutes every day makes a huge difference in your life.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything, because you've been dropping some gems, so you said there's meditation apps. Do you know of those, or you just recommend, like in terms of the timer,
Hmm.
or do you just say, hey,
Well, there's one called Insight Timer, but a couple of years ago, I feel like it was free or mostly free. I don't know what they honestly, I can't say what they are now, but I have recorded guided meditations on there, so I get emails from them every now and then.
okay,
You have a new review on your meditation. So, yeah, so Insight Timer literally I think was started as a timer for
okay,
meditation. So I think they have it, but I honestly don't know any of the other ones. Maybe you might know more than me. I don't recommend to my students that they use guided meditations, even though I have some available. But
right,
I think it's better to meditate without any distractions. So even someone's voice is a distraction. Yeah.
okay. Is there one thing, because you've been giving some nuggets, really good nuggets, is there one thing that you would want somebody to walk away from this conversation?
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like I've already said a lot of things. I guess the last thing, yeah, is I truly believe I'm here. I don't believe I'm here. I am here to help elevate the collective consciousness. I think we all are in our individual ways, but I um I think it's important to really commit to when you're healing, you have to commit, and meditation helps with healing. It is healing. But any spiritual practice, you have to commit. You can't just say, I'm just going to do this a little bit or as a hobby. I really think that's why I said before, it's not supposed to be easy. It's not a band aid. So I don't want to like sound all
Oh no.
ominous or anything, but I really want people to deeply transform their lives. And so meditation, the way I teach it, I always intend for my students to take it seriously, but also continue the practice. So I guess that's all I'll say here at the end is that I think it's so transformational, but you have to commit. It's not supposed to be quick and easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Emily, where can they find you? What I know you said at the beginning, where can they find you?
Mm. So my website is wellnessoneness.com. And I also have Instagram. I think it's wellness. I don't think I know. It's wellness underscore oneness. I think that's my handle on TikTok too and Facebook. I think it's the same one everywhere. Wellness underscore oneness.
Well, I thank you, and I know that I will have you back, and I appreciate your wisdom and everything. And
Thank
so,
you.
for joining, and make sure you have a powerful day. Okay.
I will. Thank you so much for this. This was fun.
Thank you.